So lovely to see you all.
Again. Who's the Shakespeare?
Yeah, lose those. I look all the time. Nice to see you.
Nice.
Yeah, lovely.
I like the way you put a British specific cultural reference in at the very start. Excellent.
They all watch the telly. So my name's
Your name's
It's already going badly. I'd like to introduce you to Jim Moyle. Hands up if you've heard of Jim Moyle before, if you've seen him present, if you've drunk in a bar with him. Jim Moyle is the lead SE for Atlantis in the world. No, definitely in EMEA.
Yes. Let's go for EMEA. I like that.
Jim.
This is my colleague, Andy Wood, who takes great pleasure in after Pride Forum or Synergy sessions when people mention on Twitter, I went to see Jim Moyle and the other bloke.
Yep. In internal emails, it's Jim and the other Brit. Yes, so that's us.
Well, we're both CTPs, which is very nice to be, and Andy is also a VMware expert because he filled the form in.
I filled the form. Someone read the form, it was more complicated than that. I'm also a child engineer, hands up to the British Computing Society. There you go, see, so we can have a little chat about this offline later on.
That's the same two people who put their hands up for that question every single time.
Yes, it's all
He brings the
very useful for you to be in on, and it's not just for British people. We do let foreigners in. No, it's a very useful organisation for assisting in promoting your online learning. Yes, career development. Yes, yes, cool. And today we're here to talk to you about Atlantis. Ilio, hands up if you've heard about Atlantis Ilio before. Hands up if you've been in a pub with Jim when he's talked about that. There you go. We're going to talk you through how to make and deliver your own crazy fast desktop, how to put it into your environment, how to drive performance for your users, just using RAM, CPU compute in your servers. We've got a number of different products. These you may recognise. Atlantis Ilio for persistent VDI, so a lot of people will talk about performance optimization for VDI storage for stateless environments. Yes, hands up if that's what you normally find, stateless environments.
Stateless environments, all people here, good consultants, we know how to do stateless, right?
But, as I'm sure you're aware, stateless environments aren't the be-all and end-all. Many environments will need persistent desktops. Yes, hands up if you need persistent self-tweet.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn it off because people tweet and it distracts me.
Right. So not only for stateless environments, but for persistent environments as well. Optimize the performance of the environment, not just for stateless, but for persistent. I really should have plugged in the little clicker thing. And I wouldn't have to keep wandering over. I'll let you talk about this while I sort that out.
All right, excellent. You may have to redo the represent it, but so we had lots of success with this, and people say, "Oh, I've got a terrible problem with storage under XenApp. Can you do anything to help with that?" So we decided that we would support XenApp workloads as well. So about 18 months ago, we started supporting XenApp workloads. Hey, look at that.
Dancing. There you go. You must be paying attention. Yeah. Do it again. Nope.
And then,
so many people seeing the server workload when this performance that we've got is fantastic. It's driving out great performance. In fact, the performance of my desktop is so good, my file servers, my Exchange servers, my SQL servers are now being shown up to be rubbish. Can you put server workloads on Atlantis Ilio? Some of them didn't even ask. Some of them just did it. Is this not true, Jim?
this is true, and I would walk into one of our customers and says, "You know that Atlantis Ilio for stateless stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, we put our Exchange server on it." Whoa. Hold on there, Tom.
We've put all of our file servers on. There was a very interesting session at Pride Forum where Helga and Sean did a very nice thing on improving the performance of your desktop environment by improving, by looking at the performance of the file servers. Hands up anyone who was there? Just the one. It was a good session, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was excellent.
That would have worked better if more people had put their hands up. But do check it out online. I think if you are off to Boston, they're doing it again. It's a very interesting session. Drive performance of your file servers, and we have a product for that now. It's called Atlantis Ilio USX. US for Unified Storage, and the X stands for experience.
Good suggestions, beginning with X. Or EX
or
even.
using X in it.
Or using X in it. Yeah.
Internally that stands for platform. Experience sounded awesome. I could live with that.
Zen server.
Yeah, all right. Easy target. So they're the products that we have today. What is Atlantis? Oh, it does all this stuff, Andrew, and it makes desktops really fast. But how does it work and what does it do? Jim.
Oh, thank you very much. It is software only, so we do not produce any or sell any hardware. We have virtual appliance. It works with any hypervisor, vSphere, Hyper-V, and that one over there. Nobody uses that anymore, do they? I think it's dead. We also support VMware Horizon, desktop, and that. And we also support a pure Microsoft workload. So if you're doing Audio 6 or you're doing Microsoft VDI, we completely support that as well.
Yes.
Any server, any storage platform. So for the stateless, we just use RAM. For the system, we use a little bit of shared storage. And we will support anything that's on your hypervisor HCL. There is no changes to your images. We do not have an agent. We do not have a filter driver. So there is your architecture is exactly the same as it would be without us. So no changes there. One of the key things that we do is server-side inline dedupe.
Inline dedupe. Inline, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Inline. Which is if you were in the session earlier on and we talked where it was a very interesting talk about the deduplication that's in 2012.
Yes.
Is that inline, Jim?
It is not inline.
No.
Is that a pure capacity play?
I believe it might be a bit.
It's not a performance play. So very important where you do the dedupe, either before or after you write. If you do it before, for enhancing performance. If you do it afterwards, it's for reducing capacity. So very key difference.
In fact, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how it actually works under the hood. It is a software appliance. There is no need for you to go out and learn Linux. There is no need for you to install drivers in that particular appliance. It is an appliance. It installs, you configure it, attach your NFS or iSCSI volume, and away you go. What's happening under the hood, we could go into a lot of detail about this, then we'd have to kill you all. Which seems a pity for some of you. Well, what are we doing? So application analysis, content-aware I/O processing, so looking at the blocks, making sure that the blocks of data that are going to be used most often are kept in RAM, delivered as quickly as possible, driving up performance for your users. We're also doing deduplication. What type of deduplication do we do? Inline.
Excellent.
They are good. When we're running in RAM, we'll do compression to drive the best capacity out of that RAM environment. Yes. Coalescing, so when we're writing out to disk, let's aggregate those blocks together so they're written in the most efficient way down to that disk subsystem. What changes do we need to your hypervisors?
No.
None. That's it, Chris. Try and make the whole room drive with you. What changes do we need to your server hardware?
None.
A little bit more enthusiastic, much more fun. None. Although it is Saturday at 8 to 8, so I can understand. Please don't make me drink any more beer until about 2 o'clock. So we've got different architectures to deliver environments for different types of VDI workload. For stateless, we have stateless architecture for stateless workloads. So what we're doing there is we're taking some RAM. We'll assign RAM to the AO appliance, present that RAM as an NFS storage room, and allow you to drive really fast, great performance because you're running entirely from RAM. Oh.
Yeah.
I did start
All over again.
No, it's all good.
Okay, so Andrew, if it's running in RAM, what happens when I do some maintenance on the server, Andrew? Andrew, what happens when I turn it off and turn it back on again? Obviously, it fixes all of the problems because that's how you fix problems in IT. You turn it off and turn it back on again. But that might have a bit of a problem with all of the information that was stored in RAM. So we do use. It's just easier just to point and move around with it. We do have samplers. We can use some local disk resources to take a snapshot of what was in memory, stick that to disk. So in the event of a restart, reads from what was in disk, puts it into memory, and that's where all of the users are actually operating from. I think I talked through the next slide.
You have, but that's all right. So, new in 4.1.1, very, very cool feature. Online, so that used to be you turned everything off and you took what was in memory down to disk and then that was it. people said that that was an operational overhead. Okay. So we developed a new feature which means that you can do this while it's working.
If
So if you've got some
PBS,
PBS, MCS or link columns, because we're talking about stateless architectures. Do you need any performance underneath that storage to enable this feature? No, you don't. Because essentially what we're doing is we're only taking the static information. We are not taking the diff files, we're not taking the write caches, etc., etc. So, couple of disks that come with your server, that's fine. That'll do for that.
It's like animation.
Are you just going to
I got a little bit zoned out on that one. So, okay, cool. And that's stateless. We also have an architecture that supports really great performance for persistent workloads. This is always a problem in environments where everyone would love to have a stateless workload environment. Everyone would love to have that beautiful layer environment that you get when you make a really impressive workload. But what we know is that that's not always easy, that's not always possible. Maybe your applications don't sit well with that. Maybe the amount of time it would go from having your existing application environment, your existing desktops, into stateless, where you've laid it all out, that's going to take time and effort. What we want to do is just drive the benefits of VDI quickly. Persistent workloads.
So who's got persistent in their environment? That's all. Few people. Yeah.
So
You tend to see it in very large environments, especially because they've got too many. They've got 30, 40,000.
traditional blocker for persistent workloads is I need a, you can say the word.
They're shit. Sorry, so that did say that.
Oh shit, oh no, alright, anyway, we need a lot of disk. Now, ILIO appliance, that's reducing capacity, it's doing deduplication. What type of deduplication are we doing? Inline deduplication, that's right, so driving down the amount of capacity that you need in order to support those disks, in order to support those VDI environments. We'll support HA, so if you do want to have highly available desktops, we're just an appliance, so we'll fit in with whatever HA is available in your Zen server, in your Hyper-V, in your ASX environment. All good? All happy?
Easy.
Yeah. Easy, easy. Cool. There's another nice feature, add-on feature of ILIO called Fastclone.
Fastclone, yes. We have very rich metadata around our file system. And what that means is that if you were to fully clone a VM, usually, you read all the blocks, you write all the blocks. But those reads and writes are going to us. So in actual fact, what we don't, if you don't do any of that, we don't read and write a single block. All we do is we mess around with the metadata and then register that VM with vCenter or etc. or whatever it is. This means that for full clones, they will take about 8 seconds. And this is not a difference, this is not a snapshot, this is not linked to the original one. You can storage vMotion that out to wherever you like to go. And if you need to deploy, hundreds or thousands of persistent VMs, you can do this in minutes rather than days. We also have VAAI integration.
Oh, that's cool. Please don't look at me like that, because I know how to spell it. That's
Good.
about it.
So essentially, that means that we've integrated with vCenter so that the clone operation is just offloaded to us seamlessly in the background. So extremely nice to have.
Okay, cool. Now we can combine those two technologies, which is easier to spell than it is to say. We can combine those two technologies to drive really, really fast performance. We're allowed to run persistent workloads directly from RAM. Here, we combine those two technologies that we've got, the stateless architecture running in RAM, with a persistent writing off to disk. So essentially, we've got what we call a session host. Session host machine is an ILIO appliance. It's running all of your VMs from memory. It is writing across the network to a replication host. Replication host is writing off down to disk. So all of those writes for those persistent desktop workloads are committed to disk. You're not going to lose any data. You can have multiple session hosts to the same replication host. So the amount of storage that's required at the back end, because we're deduplicating on the ILIO appliance, and then again on the replication host. So if you've got 4 session hosts, all of those will be deduplicated down again, reducing the amount of capacity that's required.
So we're not just storing one block on a server basis, we're just storing the single instance of that block across your entire cluster.
So, as a little summary, if I've got persistent environments, can Atlantis help?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Actually, I was just pausing for effect there, but thanks for chipping in there, Chris. If I've got a stateless environment, I can run directly from RAM. Take all of that disk resource that potentially you've got on shared SAN storage for those stateless environments and put it all into RAM, freeing up those SAN resources to do something more important like store files. Potentially, you can combine those two technologies together to drive really fast performance for your persistent desktops by using our in-memory persistent architecture. How can I play with this today, Andrew? Well, you can go online and sign up for a crazy fast
Not
desktop.
here, obviously. But
No, not here. Yes, you can go somewhere else and sign up on the internet for a crazy fast desktop. What's a crazy fast desktop, Andrew? So we have some servers in the States where we'll allow you to, for 7 days, run a persistent desktop for you, do whatever it is that you like. Play about with it, have fun with it, install applications with it, modify it, look at it, play with it on your device if you could actually attach to the internet. If you're a partner, you get that for up to 30 days. All of that is hosted on Atlantis for a very simple architecture. Now, we also use all the technologies we've got available, so we also use FastClone. That's an automated process. You register for the desktop using the internet that may or may not be available to you today. The process of registration goes through, and then we look at the least loaded server, and we'll look at the service that we've got in a moment, choose the least loaded server, and then automatically drive FastClone to replicate you an individual instance of a desktop for you to have a muck about with for 7 days or 30 days if you're a partner.
so that's very nice because we're software, right? We're just software. So if you wish to automate the scaling out or scaling up of your environment, you can script that.
Yep.
If you just need a bit of extra fast storage for this server, that's no problem.
You can script that.
Script that.
If you are delivering desktops to your customers, if you're delivering desktops to your users, you could automate that process just as we've got for these crazy fast desktops for your environment today. So automated with something like Res's IT store stuff, all very nice, all very lovely, in order to drive out the actual delivery of the environment, and then automation process like what we've got here to drive the delivery of persistent desktops for your users at speed. This is what I added in earlier on. I have no idea what this is. I'm excited as everyone else.
Who's heard of IAMSA? Who's used it? Who thinks you can cheat like hell with it? I think you can cheat like hell with it. I was watching Aidan in this very room talk about 1 million IOPS from scale-up file server. This, with all the lightning bolts and storage, is from VMware's blog post, which says 2 million IOPS from storage, from vSAN. And if you can flip to the next slide. Sorry. Microsoft, 2 weeks ago, achieved 1 million IOPS from scale. Now, these use IAMSA as a testing tool. Everybody uses IAMSA as a testing tool. How do you think they configured it to get these results?
For the biggest number. Yeah.
So if we go to the next slide. 100% read.
Yep.
Yeah, for both. 100% read. And not only that, is they do really small files to test against. This means that it overemphasizes any cache that you have in your environment, because essentially, if you're doing a gig file that you're throwing all the I/O against, you know, a SAN or whatever you're using can hold that gig file in front-end cache. It's completely overemphasizes the performance of any environment. Be very careful about what people say that they can achieve using IAMSA. We're going to show you IAMSA, hopefully. I'm not going to do this, because this is cheating. There's a brilliant blog post,
An awesome blog post.
an
Beautifully
amazing
written,
blog post written
well
by
articulated.
some guy who works at Atlantis, which shows you exactly how to configure IAMSA to test correctly against any kind of environment.
By all means, download that and install it in your own environment.
Yes. All you need to do is search Google for VDI and IAMSA, and that blog post is the top hit. So go read it.
Cool. We're not going to talk about this screen. This screen should have been hidden. So everyone, do not pay attention to this slide at all. Just move swiftly on. So,
No swearing.
so yes. So what we were going to talk about, crazy fast desktop. You can sign up for one of those. But what happens, Andrew, if I don't want your crazy fast desktop? What happens if I want to put one in my own environment? I want to use my own build, my own Zen app server maybe, my own Zen desktop instance maybe. How do I achieve that? If you have ESX in your environment, you can download a free appliance, ILIO appliance, which you were entitled to use forever. In perpetuity. 10 licenses, so 10 VDI instances or one Zen app server.
And if you're there thinking, I can download 10 of these and do 10 Zen app servers.
Yes. Because there's a bit of the video that we have to talk about. So, downloading that now, if you, unlike me, had turned up for Neil's session yesterday, very fun and very informative, I have been informed, he too utilised this. Oh right, wrong screen. Should really pull this through. Talk amongst yourselves.
So as you see, preparation is key to
Absolutely
successful
fundamental
presentations.
to a seamless delivery.
So we have, like many other sensible people, videos instead of live demos due to aforesaid internet, or lack thereof. And what we'll show you is...
What we'll show you is a video of someone doing an installation of ILIO, the free version. Ready? Full screen. Full screen. Full screen. Full screen.
It's just a thing.
I'll point here so you can see.
Actually, you did that, and then it looks as if it's a fancy touch screen. All right, so... Oh, no. Start again then. So I've downloaded the appliance using the internet, which may or may not be available to you right now. And you'll get about a 2 gig download. You'll run the installation file. It's a little executable. You do need Java on your PC environment. Ooh. Well, you get crazy fast desktops for free in perpetuity. Just install Java for a bit. What that's doing, this is fine, don't worry, don't look at this. What that does is provide you with an installation routine. Obviously you read that, yes, digest that, understand that, and comply. Then you'll get a registration key when you download that allows you to use this appliance. So here we go, copy, paste, next. So put in your vCenter IP address, not DNS name. There is a tool that you can find
a very
where you
handy
can
tool.
translate the name to an IP address.
Yes, it's a little known tool called ping.
Yes. So then you put in your username and password for vCenter. So yeah, there was a question yesterday, can I put this on the free version of ESX? And we went, yeah, probably, but you need vCenter. So yeah, that's our technical input on that. Yeah.
What about Hyper-V?
Hyper-V. So we do have a version for Hyper-V, and we do have a version for Zen Server, but not yet free download like this one is. Yet. This.
Hold on, are we giving you free stuff?
How
moaning about it?
Drop us a line.
Right, I've got something different.
It's all about me. So here you see I get this wrong, but you sort out the network names, or assign the network name to the appliance. All very good. Back to the Hyper-V one. Drop us a line so we can set you up with a POC environment for Hyper-V. That's not a problem. Likewise, if you've got Zen Server, drop us a line. You can put Zen Server on. So we've got deployment services for Zen Server, deployment services for Hyper-V. But a free version you can download just install yourself in perpetuity. Not yet. What's happening now? All right, so yes. Now we have to wait while this grog comes through. This is the bit where I should have shortened. But Jim went, shall we go to the pub? And I went, yeah, let's go to the pub. Yeah.
So that's just deploying the OVF, which I'm just going to try and fast forward through.
There we go. Oh.
You're doing well today.
I blame you.
You always blame me.
It's the easiest way. So, we've deployed the appliance, it's installed now. You will notice that it's appeared in the vCenter list. As Jim alluded to earlier on, can I not just put 10 in and it's 400 users? No. First of all, it's against the EULA that you all read, right? Which is a very important point. But secondly, there are some services within the appliance that make sure that if there's another appliance on the network, this one stops.
Different VLAN.
Yeah, all right. Did you read the EULA? Did you read the EULA?
It's very specific.
I can ask Remco to get it out.
Well, that'll be an interesting one, won't it? And then it's on, and it presents an NFS storage volume that you can put VMs in. So if you've got Zen Desktop, use it as an NFS storage volume. If you've got Zen App, move your Zen App server into it. Neil, what was your experiences with Ilio free version? How did you find it?
Lovely.
I was kind of hoping for a bit more, but that'll do.
You get half pint for that.
Really?
And there we go, and we're all done. So in about, 10 minutes, you too can have an environment in your environment using your desktops. Your environment, provided your environment is ESX, Hyper-V coming soon, Tensor coming soon, allowing you to drive your own internal crazy fast desktops.
So, lots of free stuff, right? You can have one of our desktops, just sign up for it on the web. You can have your own, all free, sign up on the web.
Cool.
Is that it?
Is that it? Is that it? Well, no, actually, we just in a minute. Let's go from here, given that we've probably only got a little time. No. I'm going to read it badly.
Hey,
There we go. However, as we alluded to earlier on, it's not just about desktops, is it? It's about other server workloads. What are we going to do about those other server workloads? We've got file service environments, we've got Exchange environments, we've got SQL environments, we've got application environments. Can we drive the performance of those too? And the answer to that is yes. In ESX today.
and ESX too.
Today. So traditionally, oh hang on, it'd be easier just to go back to bed and start again. Traditionally, you'd have an environment where each of your services was on an individual host assigned to a specific type of business resource. Yes, back in the day when possibly some of you had more hair, slightly less of you, yeah? Then what happened is hypervisors came along and allowed you to pool and abstract those server resources onto centralized servers. Yet the storage, still isolated. Still issues of capacity, still issues of performance. With Atlantis USX, the goal is to abstract that storage resource and present it up to your server environments. We will gloss over the fact that it says SQL 2008, any version of SQL. Optimize your storage pools and present storage as a optimized storage volume for applications. Do you want me to do this one as well?
Yeah. You're the one with the microphone. This is why I gave you the microphone, so you get recorded.
So
yeah?
traditionally,
And I can just stand here and swear.
Yeah. Traditionally, your different storage environments would have limiters. Yeah, so SAN, great in terms of capacity, lots and lots of capacity on your SAN, but not great in terms of performance. Going all the way through to flash devices, awesome in terms of performance. Not so awesome in terms of capacity. A disk, direct attached disk, yes, all right, possibly performing, but wow, how are we going to get the capacity on? The concept is, with USX, to abstract all of that using technologies that we've already proven in the field. So using the same technology that's driving Atlantis Ilio, using the same technology that's driving Atlantis Ilio for Xana, let's put that on. Let's present NFS iSCSI volumes today. In the future, we'll do SMB and object volumes. We'll do our deduplication. What type of deduplication do we do? Hey, getting a bit better. Warming up. I/O processing, compression, all of that. All of that to allow you to present single storage volumes and make the best use of all the resources. Take some CPU and memory from each of those server resources and drive better performance from that SAN environment, drive better performance from that NAS environment, aggregate them together to give you even greater capacity. I'm not, to be fair, I'm not sure we've shown you this. I'm not quite sure how to deal with that. All right. Coming.
In the future.
In
Wow.
the future. So that's today, ESX environments today.
Yep.
Proof of concept, if you wanted to get in touch, if you think that there's an opportunity for you to drive greater capacity, greater performance from your SAN environment, by all means drop us a line. We are deploying POCs today with USX,
Today, yes.
with the future of USX. Here's where we're going. We're taking you on a futuristic journey. They didn't look as impressed as, in my head, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Their faces, not so awesome.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Teleportal. So this is coming very shortly. It's working. I've seen it working in our labs today. If you have a deduplicated file system on either end of a WANIC, and you know all the blocks are on this side, you know all the blocks that are on that side. And if you say, I want to vMotion this VM over that WANIC to that other location. If you have rich metadata, I can say, I know what blocks are in there. I know what blocks should be over there. So I don't have to move those. I just move the unique data. And that's typically maybe about 5% or less of that server's actual blocks. So that means that effectively what we're doing is we're disassembling the VM over here, and we're reassembling it over there. So essentially, vMotion with no network. If you are a cloud service provider and you wanted to onboard new people, the problem is getting all that data into the cloud is very difficult. Sneaking it is the usual way. If you had this ability, you could move VMs and you could do cloud onboarding, you could do DR, you could do all kinds of cool stuff without getting that data transferred. In the future, that will be amazing. If all your brains think about that, then there are interesting consequences to being able to do that.
Today we're doing this. Tomorrow we're doing that. What do other people think about this? There's an interesting article from the Register. Anyone heard of the Register?
No.
It's a tabloid newspaper for IT.
Yes. Chris Allen is their storage guy. Wrote a very interesting article comparing EMC's Viper technology to what it is that Atlantis with USX on top of, say, vSAN could do. He ended on bite on that EMC. See what he did there? Because he's like Viper's like a snake. And then, no, I've lost you. All right, well, I've obviously. So, any questions other than is it free on Hyper-V? That's not already. Yes, sir.
With your future cloud
I didn't like the way you did that.
migration,
This is obviously a question. This is obviously a question for Jim.
Jim, obviously, if you're a service provider, you have access to that storage tier for the whole migration of data to
Yeah.
be. You have things like AWS and presumably Azure and things like
Yes.
that. How are you going to deal with customers who are moving to those kind of cloud platforms? Because presumably you can't sit in that storage tier from an Azure or an AWS.
So, funnily enough,
Unless they buy you.
well, I mean, we're just a VM, right?
Yep.
We're just a VM. So as long as you've got hypervisor access to connect to the NFS map,
Which we do.
You can. We are talking with Amazon. I'm going to not say anything more about that.
We're addressing that concern.
It's not a concern. They don't provide access to the underlying hypervisor, and the storage is abstracted.
So it really depends on your IaaS, your cloud provider of choice. It would require some integration, but we are aware of that, right? So,
But the goal
We
is
are
to
trying to
allow
address it.
is to potentially then you sell that service to the cloud service provider, who then passes that on to you,
Yes.
consumers, in terms of having better policies and better performance from the disk resources the cloud service provider has.
Sign up here, Amazon.
Yeah, come and get us. Buy lots of licenses from us. Is what I meant by it. Any other excellent questions for Jim? Or easy questions for me? No?
More trivial ones. So
Awesome, that's me then.
yeah. So let's say I have like a 10 Zen server farm, basic
Yeah.
6.5, like 100, 200 Zen concurrent users.
Yep.
How much RAM do you approximate I need for the ILO virtual
Interesting
appliance?
question. Depends on the size of the image. It depends what your delivery platform is. Is it MCS or is it 5 minutes? Cool. Is it MCS or is it PVS?
PVS.
Typically, ILO appliance 60, 70 gig of RAM
Yeah.
for a host that will support about.
For a host that will support about 200 users.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll take 80% out of the capacity. So whatever you would use as capacity, then remove 80% of that, and that will be your parameter finger in the air.
Yeah.
So if you've got 10 gig write caches, you've got 10 Zen servers, then you'll need 30 odd gig for including the system area as well. If anybody was wondering why my math was bad there.
Do you have a calculator for that, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did indeed. I have a calculator for that. Still
Yes, sir.
uncalculated. Yes, yes,
Would
all
you,
right.
would you do bare metal installation for certain customers?
So we're a virtual appliance,
So no.
so no.
So no, okay.
So yes, it's a virtual appliance. Right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big letters. Virtual
Although
appliance.
it's just a Linux appliance, and I suppose it would be technically possible to do
Technically,
that.
we work on bare metal as long as you put a hypervisor in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bare metal,
right?
hypervisor, then us. Then we work on bare metal just fine.
To answer my question.
Hasn't there been on the slide with the Flash one, there was no hypervisor, no VM?
No. Well, yes.
Well, that's probably an issue with the slide, to be honest. It's not that unbeknownst to us, we really do work on bare metal.
But what is interesting is vendors like EMC and well, no, not EMC, NetApp, definitely NetApp, IBM as well, are coming to us and saying, we've got all these flash appliances that we'd like to sell for persistent workloads. Capacity on them is poor, value is poor for persistent workloads. But we're partnering with us,
Yes.
increasing the capacity available using deduplication. What type of deduplication? Inline deduplication, that's right. Drives greater capacity for those, reducing the cost of that flash storage. So NetApp are coming along and going, actually we can sell more flash storage with Atlantis than we could without.
Let's talk a little bit about DG. There is
In about a minute.
in about a minute. All right. There is only one open source inline DG engine, which is called ZFS, stands for Zettabyte File System, which is built for scalability and resilience. This is not built for performance. Every write you put into ZFS goes to 5 nodes, so it's a 5x write penalty in ZFS. It's also, because it's designed to take a zettabyte, their DG has to have very, very expensive hashing tables, so it is unbelievably heavy on CPU. If you see somebody else saying, I can do inline DG, you say, is it based on ZFS? And they go, well, yes, but we've made it much, much better. No, it's still fucking ZFS. Right? So that's why if you turn DG on lots of these other flash appliances, performance will take shit. But I just sort of dropped that in there. If anybody were wondering about whether our inline DG is different from everybody else's, absolutely it is. It's built from the ground up for performance, and nobody else is.
I mean, I patents on that.
Yes.
So,
Last question.
go out today, sign up for Crazy Fast Desktop when you find some internet, and obviously download the appliance if you're on ESX, or drop me an email if you'd like to have play on Hyper-V. I do not know, I will ask. I was told soon by engineering. We all know what soon from engineering means. It means soon. Yeah. But I know that you'll want to have a look in your lab in Hyper-V. Just drop me an email. Send you a link. I'm fine. Yes.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Piece of piss. Right. Thanks very much, everybody. It's been
Thank you.